Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to 3 News Now. I'm Stephanie Haney, and today is Thursday, April 14th. Thanks for being back with me for your top stories from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. As a reminder, these are the stories that matter most to you here in Northeast Ohio because these are the stories that you are clicking on, reading, and sharing from our website and our app. And I just want to say that it is great to be back after some time away. A lot has happened here in Northeast Ohio over the past week. Let's get down to what everyone is focusing on today. First of all, something that people are taking a look at. There's a new overtime law that will be taking effect soon that could impact you if you are an hourly worker here in Ohio. So starting this summer, there will be new rules for hourly workers in Ohio when it comes to overtime pay. There's a new law that defines when you can and when you can't clock overtime. So one change under this new law is now hourly workers will have to opt in, meaning you won't automatically be included in any class action lawsuits about unpaid wages. And this new law also exempts your employer from paying overtime for your drive to and from a work site, and also if you're doing certain things that require, quote, insubstantial or insignificant periods of time outside of work hours. But what that particularly means for the hourly workers here in Ohio, likely not to be a big difference here in Ohio in that regard. Some people say this was needed clarification. Other people say no real benefit for hourly workers. That part of it won't necessarily change. But do keep in mind, if there is a dispute at your workplace about unpaid wages, starting this summer, you'll have to opt in with written consent if you want to be a part of any group lawsuit related to those unpaid wages. It will not be automatic. Okay, now let's take a look at a series that we have called Boss Ladies of CLE. This is a series that our anchor Sarah Shookman takes a look at, and these are women in Cleveland who are doing incredible things here in our community. And the most recent installment of the series takes a look at the women in top leadership positions in new Cleveland Mayor Justin Bibb's administration. One of those people is Chief Communications Officer Sarah Johnson. Working towards a better city with communicating with the mayor's plans is her goal here. Here's a quote from Sarah Johnson. She says, "My day-to-day job is really ensuring that the mayor's message gets out to the residents of Cleveland, that it also gets out to our media partners, and at the same time that she's protecting the brand of the mayor and the brand of the city." Another person that our Sarah Shookman had talked with, Jessica Trevisano. She was a law school classmate of Bibb's at Case Western Reserve University right here in Cleveland. Now she's the senior strategist for the West Side market, and so she is helping to guide a new future for what that might look like for what is an iconic landmark here in Cleveland that has been struggling, quite frankly, for quite some time. Here's what she said when speaking to our Sarah Shookman. She said, "There's 110 years of history here and 70 small businesses and counting that rely on this place to feed their families and make a living. It's a job that has a lot of gravity that she wants to get right." Another person that our Sarah Shookman spoke with from Justin Bibb's administration, Joyce Pan Wong. She moved to City Hall after leading Midtown Cleveland's efforts. Now she's expanding the role as a city planning director. She's not only the first woman, but also the first Asian American to fill that role here in Cleveland. Here's what she said when speaking to Sarah Shookman. "We're really thinking about the future of Cleveland and all of its neighborhoods, whether it's lack of green space, lack of safe streets for you to walk. Our most vulnerable citizens are the ones that we need to be watching out for." So these women are all part, again, of a series that Sarah Shookman has been working on, and they are part of a diverse administration. They say that the Justin Bibb administration has prioritized putting women in key city leadership roles. So if you want to hear more about that, head to WKYC.com and the WKYC app. And when we talk about diversity and making sure people are taken care of here in Cleveland, the Cleveland Cavaliers at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse are actually leading the way for inclusive arenas in the country as they look to a home game tomorrow for the play-in tournament for the chance to continue on in the playoffs. Okay, so when you are at a professional basketball game, you know there's buzzers going off, there's sound of the crowd cheering, there's lots of crowd moving around, lots of hustle and bustle, lots of noise, lots of stimulation there. So that can be overwhelming for people that have sensory challenges. One particular group that does experience sensory challenges are people who have autism. And when talking to 3 News, Executive Vice President of Venues Anthony Bonavita told 3 News that the reason that Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse and the Cavaliers are in the position that they are is because there was a mess up not that long ago. There was a security officer that didn't handle a situation with an autistic family well. That's according to Bonavita. And so it got brought to the attention of people who were in a position where they could make a change. So it was eye-opening, and it was also personal to Bonavita, who has a 12-year-old son, Dominic, who is on the autism spectrum. So he said, from there, they talked to experts and they figured out what they could do to make a quiet space, and that it was an educating moment for the people at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. Senior Director of Guest Experiences, Patrick Scanlon, said that they saw the benefit of providing a more inclusive atmosphere, not just at sporting events, but in the world in general. And it started a bit of a movement. So in 2017, the Cavs became the first team in the NBA to open a sensory room in their arena. It's a quiet space. It's a space where people can sort of get out of the hustle and bustle, and they can take a moment to collect themselves if they're feeling overwhelmed by all of the stimulating sights and sounds and things that are happening around them. And now, according to Scanlon, almost every other NBA team is sensory inclusive, and it's also spilled over into the National Hockey League, the NFL, NASCAR, wrestling, lots of other spaces. So then the movement grew bigger at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. Okay, so the quiet space is open to all guests with sensory challenges, not just people who are on the autism spectrum. So that does include veterans with PTSD. There's also a nursing room nearby, and they've added gender-neutral bathrooms. So Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse is really in the space trying to make it as inclusive as possible. Bonavita said, "We worked really hard to make sure that everyone knows they're welcome here at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse." And he says, when we say everyone, we mean everyone. He also said they know that the work is not done. So they do invite people. If you are in Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse and you see something that you think could be a better experience, no matter what it is, tap somebody on the shoulder, let them know. People will make sure that message gets to the people that it needs to get to. And they are, at this moment, leading the way in inclusivity in their space at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. Now here's some breaking news this afternoon. We got this hot tip from our 3 News Go morning anchor, Dave Chudowski. His sources have told him that the I-X Center iconic Ferris wheel is going to Canton, my friends. It will be in the Hall of Fame Village in Canton. So they plan to start doing the move this May, and they hope to have it up and running in Canton by late summer. That's very, very soon. Also, there'll be a bit of a name change. When it's in the Hall of Fame Village, it will be known as the Red Zone. So, hoping to have that operating in Canton late summer 2022, which would be a nice time up for the Professional Football Hall of Fame Enshrinement Festival, which happens every late summer in Canton. So, we knew it was going somewhere, we just weren't sure where. Now we know the Ferris wheel from the I-X Center is going not too far from here, down to Canton, my hometown. All right, let's talk about what's happening on Friday, shall we? It's going to be an iconic sports day here in Cleveland. Not only will the Cavaliers be playing home for a chance to continue on in the playoffs, that's at 7:30 p.m., but also it's the Cleveland Guardians home opener, which you can watch, by the way, right here on 3, and that starts at 7:10 p.m. for the first pitch. So there's some new things that you need to know. They've changed their bag policy for the better. So if you're going to the game, which they say is now sold out except for standing room only tickets, if you are going to the game, you can now take your bigger bags. They're returning to the policy they had in 2019. So if your bag is not bigger than 16 by 16 by 8, we've got these measurements on WKYC.com, you'll be good to go. And also, all manufactured diaper bags are allowed in. Now, before you had to have a small clutch, 9 by 5 by 2. These are inches that I'm talking about, okay? So pretty small. Also medical bags and diaper bags. But now, back to that previous policy, you can have a small bag that is 16 inches by 16 inches by 8 inches. And there are some other new things that you need to know about at Progressive Field. I tweeted about this earlier. I was catching up on my email after getting back in town from being away. Lots of new good food options at Progressive Field this spring and summer and fall, and one of them is plant-based nachos. You'll be able to get those at the Tostitos nacho stands that are all around Progressive Field. They've also got a new Wisconsin Brat Burger coming to Brew Kettle. They've got the Southwest Burger at Build-A-Burger. There's a mac and cheese bowl that's coming to Melt Bar and Grilled inside of Progressive Field. And the South Side Slope Sandwich will be at Fatheads. So lots of good options there. And also, by the way, if you're a non-meat eater like me, the other thing that you need to know about that's been there is the Veggie Dog at Happy Dog. But here is a pro tip for you. They sell out fast. So if you're craving that Veggie Dog from Happy Dog at Progressive Field, maybe make that one of your first stops, because they do go quite quickly. Another new thing for the Guardians this year, in addition to the name, of course, so this will be their first game at home as the Cleveland Guardians, they have something called the Family Value Pack. So it's $80 and it's 4 tickets. But in that ticket purchase price, you get $40 towards concessions or merchandise. So essentially you're paying $10 for the ticket and then $10 of money that you can use then at the Progressive Field Arena in the space towards food and merchandise. And if 4 tickets is not enough for you, you can add up to 4 more tickets. So you can get up to 8 tickets, and each ticket is $20 and comes with $10 of that value. So you could spend up to $160 on a pack of 8 tickets, and then $80 of that money you can use around the park. And if you are looking for the freebies, by the way, if you're really looking to maximize your money, they're giving away jerseys a couple times this season. Mark these dates on your calendar. June 25th for a Shane Bieber jersey. This is all to the first 12,500 fans, mind you, okay? The stadium fits a lot of people, so get there early. That's kind of the vibe. Also, July 2nd, a Larry Doby 1948 jersey, and then also August 6th, a Miles Straw jersey. So these are the dates to mark on your calendar if you're into that free jersey vibe. Now, if you're into theater, Playhouse Square has announced its 2022-23 KeyBank Broadway series. There are 7 shows that will be a part of it. Those shows are Les Miserables, Cats, Beetlejuice, Hadestown, Tina, the Tina Turner musical, Moulin Rouge, the musical, and Six, the musical. And remember, previously we talked about Hamilton coming back to Playhouse Square. Hamilton, not part of this season ticket pass, okay? But if you do get the season ticket, you get priority purchasing standing for those Hamilton tickets. So keep that in mind as well. We have all the information for buying tickets if you are interested to the KeyBank Broadway series at Playhouse Square. It is all on WKYC.com, so make sure you check that out. Something else you might want to check out is tomorrow night on Friday, after you get your baseball and your basketball fix in, the Rowley Inn, which is right next to the Christmas Story House in Tremont, it's going to be featured on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. That'll be at 9 p.m. this Friday on the Food Network with TV host Guy Fieri. Okay, so put that on your calendar if you want to check that out. How they described his time in Cleveland, they said, in Cleveland, a funky bar making monster tots and a Hawaiian-Polish mashup is what he found. And if you miss it on Friday night, if you're out downtown, if you're having a good time after those games, there's also other times that you'll be able to catch it air, and we have that all listed on WKYC.com. And before we let you go here, here's an interesting fact to share if you are a fan of ornamental pear trees, which a lot of people apparently in Ohio are, but not everyone is, because they have now been added to the invasive plant list. So starting pretty soon, starting in January of 2023, you won't be able to plant a calorie pear tree. You also will not be able to buy or sell one. So they came here, they're not native to Ohio. These plants came here from East Asia. They were brought over to the U.S. in the 1950s and the 1960s. Beautiful ornamental landscape trees. They're just beautiful, and they transported well, they weren't expensive, they grew pretty quickly, they grew pretty easily. That's the problem. They grow too easily, and they are taking over native plants, and they're kind of messing with the ecosystem. So no more after January 2023. So keep that in mind when you are planning your landscaping this spring and summer and fall. By the way, there was also a law that was passed in Pennsylvania right next to us. That went into effect in February. So it's already in effect over there. So here in Ohio, you got a little more time if you just love the calorie pear tree and you really want to make that happen. It's one of 38 plants that are invasive in Ohio. So one more to the list that you just can't plant anymore after January 2023. All right, that's it for your 3 News Now update today for Thursday, April 14th. I hope you all have been having a wonderful week. We've got one more day left this week. I'll see you back tomorrow with more 3 News Now.